Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a really interesting source one of you shared. It's a YouTube video transcript, basically someone's personal story mixed with a six-step guide to building wealth from scratch.
And the backstory is pretty compelling.
Yeah, really grabs you. Left school at 16, no qualifications, told he'd amount to nothing. And then becomes a millionaire in his early 20s. He uses that journey, that unlikely path, as the basis for the advice he gives.
Right. And our job here, our mission in this deep dive, is really to pull out the core ideas, the principles, maybe some surprising bits from his account and his guide.
Yes, he was really driving his message.
Exactly. Help you figure out what's most important and maybe how it lines up or doesn't with your own way of thinking about money and wealth.
He sounds confident about it, too.
Yeah.
Says if you follow these steps, you'll be miles ahead.
That's a big claim. So where does he start?
Okay, step one. It's about creating an investment budget. But maybe more than that, it's about a fundamental shift, a mindset shift.
Ah, the mindset piece. Crucial.
He says most people get it wrong. They treat investing like an afterthought, if they even think about it.
Leftovers, maybe?
Exactly. And he argues that's why they struggle. His view, investing has to come first. Priority number one. Right from the get-go.
So flipping the script. Not save first, then maybe invest.
Right. Invest first. And to explain the mindset needed, he uses this framework, the 3 Ws.
Yeah, the 3 Ws. Wasters, warriors, and winners.
Okay.
Wasters, well, it's kind of obvious. They spend everything they get. Maybe say money isn't important, focus on the now.
Okay. And warriors.
Warriors are the savers. Sometimes, like, extreme savers, they budget everything, deprive themselves, focus solely on cutting costs.
Right. Scrimping and saving.
Yeah. But then you have the winners.
What makes them different?
According to him, winners get that money can improve life. And crucially, they understand it grows through investing. So their main goal isn't just spending. It's getting money to invest. While still, living a balanced life, enjoying some of it, the big shift is seeing money as a tool.
To make more money, not just to buy stuff.
Exactly. That's the core idea he's pushing.
He uses a great example. Say you save up $10,000 over a year.
Okay.
You spend it all on, I don't know, pimping your ride.
Right. Shiny rims.
Yeah. Well, now you have to work another whole year just to get that $10K back. You're basically resetting.
Back to square one.
But his point is, if you invest that $10K instead, and it does well, maybe it turns into, say, $100,000.
Okay, that's optimistic, but yeah, the principle holds.
Right. Then you can take a bit of that, buy the car stuff, and still have, like, $90,000 left to reinvest and keep growing.
It really starkly contrasts linear saving versus potential exponential growth. Makes you think differently about the opportunity cost of spending, doesn't it?
Definitely. So thinking about that initial idea, that mindset shift, what jumps out at you? Does that feel radically different from how you approach things now? All right, so after getting the money mindset sorted, step 2 is about increasing the amount you actually have coming in, increasing your value, he calls it.
Right, earning more.
He tells this story, an analogy about 2 surfers, Cooper and Dwayne.
Okay.
Cooper only wants the perfect massive wave. So he spends ages searching, sometimes misses weeks of surfing waiting for it.
The perfectionist.
Yeah, Dwayne. He just goes out every day, rides whatever waves are there, small ones, messy ones, just focuses on getting better, practicing.
Makes sense. So the point is...
The point, according to the source, is that too many people are like Cooper with wealth, waiting for the one big idea, the lottery win, the perfect wave.
While not actually doing the work day to day.
Exactly. Dwayne, because he practiced constantly on small waves, was ready. He had the skills. So when the big wave did come,
he could actually ride it. Cooper would probably just wipe out.
That's the idea. He says these big opportunities, he mentions things like the dot-com boom, housing bubbles, crypto, they do happen.
Right. Those cycles exist.
But you can only really benefit if you've already built up your value, your skills. If you're ready like Dwayne.
So the advantage isn't just luck, it's readiness. Preparedness built through consistent effort, consistent skill development.
Yeah. And he suggests concrete ways to do this, like investing in skills where there's clear need, a market gap.
Okay, like what?
He gives this example of becoming a plumber. Says maybe a $1,000 qualification could lead to earning over $5,000 a month. That's a massive return on that initial $1K investment in the skill.
Wow, yeah. If those numbers hold, that's like a 60x return in a year. just from the earnings potential. That's powerful.
Definitely highlights the investment aspect.
He also mentions other skills, right? More universal ones.
Yeah, things like public speaking, negotiation, content creation. Skills that help you no matter what you do.
Transferable skills, always valuable.
His whole point here is just viewing education, learning, skill development, view it all as an investment, something you expect a return from.
Yeah, not just a cost or something you have to do.
So maybe for you listening, how could you apply that lens? Think about your own learning, your skills. Is there a gap you could fill or a universal skill you could sharpen that would genuinely be an investment in yourself? Okay, so we've got the mindset. We're increasing our value, earning more. Step 3 is about the practical side. Open investing accounts.
Right. You need somewhere to put the money you're prioritizing for investment from step 1.
Makes sense. He mentions the stock market as a key area.
But he's careful to say it's usually not about getting rich quick. It's about that long-term compounding effect.
And he points out it's way easier now than it used to be. Lots of apps and platforms.
Definitely more accessible.
Yeah.
Did he mention any specifics in the source?
Yeah, he did talk about platforms available today.
Okay, so reporting from the source material itself, he does specifically discuss one app called Lightyear.
Lightyear, okay. What did the source say about it?
Well, he highlighted its focus, which is apparently giving European investors easier, low-cost access to global markets.
So European focus.
Seems so. He mentioned the platform has over 3,000 stocks and ETFs. UK ones like Tesco, Barclays, AstraZeneca, Burberry, US stocks, European ones too, S&P 500 trackers, that kind of thing.
Okay, quite a range.
And he pointed out a feature where you can apparently earn interest on cash you haven't invested yet in euros, dollars, or pounds.
Oh, interest on uninvested cash. That's interesting.
Yeah, he mentioned it's available in the UK, the Eurozone, and Hungary, according to the source.
Got it. So quite specific details there from the video itself.
Yes. And crucially, still reporting directly from the source material, he included that standard but very important disclaimer.
The risk warning.
Exactly. That investing always carries risk. Your capital is at risk. Values can go down as well as up. That context was right there in his explanation.
Good. Absolutely essential to remember. Okay, moving to step 4. He calls this one the real key to building mass wealth, which is build assets.
Right. This seems to be a big one for him. He tells another story here. John and Alex,
okay.
both followed step 2, increased their earnings. John just diligently invested his extra cash in the stock market every month. Simple.
Okay, the steady approach.
Alex did that too, invested in stocks. But he also spent significant time, energy, and money building his own thing, his own asset.
What kind of asset?
In the story, it was a craft beer brand. He saw a gap in the market, used his skills, experimented, marketed it like crazy.
So entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Building a business.
Essentially, yes. And the story goes, John thought Alex was kind of wasting his time, should just stick to stocks. But after a few years, Alex's beer brand takes off. Big orders, valuation grows significantly. Meanwhile, John's stock portfolio is just doing its steady, slower climb.
So the contrast is pretty stark in the story.
It is. And the Seeker's analysis is that buying stocks is great, but you're buying small pieces of assets someone else built.
Right. You're a part owner.
Whereas building your own business, your own asset from the ground up, pouring your own effort and capital into that, he argues that has the potential for much, much bigger returns, creating new value.
So it's not necessarily in either situation.
Doesn't sound like it. The moral seems to be, try to do both. Invest in the market and work on building your own asset, your own business, brand, product, whatever fits you.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
What skills or ideas might you have that could potentially become an asset, something you build yourself? Okay, step 5. This one might raise a few eyebrows, definitely challenges common advice. Use debt strategically.
Yeah, this one often goes against the grain. He explicitly says debt isn't automatically bad.
Which is counter to what many people believe. All debt is bad debt.
Exactly. But he's talking about a specific strategic use, mostly in the context of property. He calls it a real-life game of Monopoly.
Okay, Monopoly. How does that work in real life, according to him?
His example is buying, say, a fixer-upper property for $100,000.
Right, in its work.
You invest maybe $50,000 in renovations, you do good work, it increases the value significantly, maybe it's now worth $200,000.
Okay, value added.
Then you go to the bank and refinance based on the new value. Maybe you can borrow, say, 75% of that $200K, which is $150,000.
So you pull out the original purchase price plus the renovation cost in cash.
Potentially, yes, or at least a large chunk of it. That $150K you pull out can then be used as the down payment or renovation fund for the next property. You're using the equity you created in the first property to acquire more assets.
Leveraging the value increase makes sense when you lay it out like that, but risky if the market turns.
Absolutely. And he points out a critical prerequisite. You need a good credit score to even play this game.
Right. Banks won't lend you money otherwise.
So he stresses building good credit early. Simple way. Get a credit card, use it maybe for small things, but crucially, pay the full balance off every single month. No exceptions.
Build that track record of reliability.
Exactly. Lenders see that score as your reliability report card. Can they trust you with their money?
So it's about understanding how debt can be used as a tool, a lever for growth, rather than just seeing it all as inherently negative. A different perspective. All right, brings us to the final step. Step 6. Don't spend earned money.
Now that sounds impossible at first glance, right?
Yeah, like how do you live? But he's addressing that common idea. Earn more, spend more. The lifestyle creep.
Right. He argues that's a flawed way to think if you want to build real wealth. His idea of a consistently great life, financially, involves spending only what your investment portfolio yields.
Okay, explain that. The yield.
He suggests a sustainable yield might be around 8 to 10% per year. Now, he clarifies, doesn't mean you literally have to take that money out of your investments each year.
Because it's more like a guideline.
Exactly. Your earnings are still your income.
Yeah.
But the amount you allow yourself to spend from those earnings should be guided by what your total invested capital could theoretically generate at that sustainable rate, like 8-10%.
Got it. So if you have, say, $1 million invested.
Right. At 10% yield, that's $100,000 a year.
So that suggests you could comfortably spend up to $100K a year from your job income or business income, whatever.
Without actually needing to touch the $1 million investment principle, you're living within the means generated by your capital base, conceptually speaking.
That's a really interesting way to frame spending limits. Keeps the core asset growing.
And he uses that money tree analogy to make it stick.
Oh, yeah, the seed analogy.
Yeah. Every dollar you earn is like a seed. You plant it, invest it, it grows into a money tree, your portfolio. The more seeds you plant and care for, the bigger the tree gets. And it produces fruit, the yield, the income, if you only take the fruit and keep nurturing the tree.
It keeps growing and providing for you. But if you start chopping down the branches or the trunk.
Exactly. You destroy the source. It's a powerful image for long-term thinking.
Okay, let's quickly recap those 6 core ideas then. 1. Invest first, mindset shift. 2. Constantly increase your value, your skills. 3. Get the practical account set up to invest. 4. Build your own assets, don't just buy pieces of others. 5. Learn to use debt strategically, like for property. And 6. Live off the yield of your money tree, not by chopping it down. Spend based on what your capital generates.
It's quite a comprehensive framework he lays out, isn't it? All grounded in his own experience and what he learned. And that central promise holds, follow this, and you could be miles ahead.
Definitely offers a specific roadmap, a different way to look at things. Which leads us to that final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Looking back at these 6 steps we just unpacked, which one feels like the biggest hurdle for you? Which one requires the most significant shift in how you currently think or act? And maybe, just maybe, what's the smallest possible first step you could take towards embracing that particular principle? Something to mull over.